right, here we go. Welcome to Journey to Joy Live. I'm your host, Dr. N. Joy. It's nice to be with you for another week. During September is National Recovery Month as well as Suicide Prevention Month. So we started out with National Recovery Month and then last week transitioned our way over to Suicide Prevention Month. I was talking about some myths and facts in the recovery, and then we dwelled right into National Suicide Month because we can prevent suicide. We all can, and it's super important for us all to know that we can do that. It is very preventable, uh, like some other diseases, but particularly suicide is definitely super preventable. Just because someone is thinking about it does not mean that it is inevitable that they will take their own lives. Let's get started into some self care tips really quickly as far as our thought life, right? Suicidal thoughts is a thought. So, naturally, it's good for us to talk about our thought life. Negative thoughts versus positive thoughts. Negative thoughts work. They will make you feel negative. They will make you feel bad. They will make you feel depressed. Positive thoughts work too. They make you feel good and joyful and content and make you feel like you love yourself, right? So I encourage in our self-care routine is self-love and talking positively to ourselves. I mentioned a little bit about cognitive behavioral therapy last week, and that talks about how our thoughts are tightly tied to our emotions and our behaviors. That little triangle I mentioned last week. Well, let's say we have a situation of failing a test, right? A thought that you might have is, I suck. I'm a failure. I'm inadequate. I'll never do anything well in life. If you have those thoughts, how is it going to make you feel? Awful, bad, depressed, sad, and for some, suicidal. So then what's that behavior that's tied to that thought and that emotion? The behavior is self-harm. The behavior is giving up, is not taking that test again, that's for sure. So let's take that same situation of failing a test and put a positive thought onto that. Let's say you fail a test and the positive thought is, oh, I'll do better next time. Oh, it's okay. I can put more effort into it. What can I do what can I learn from this situation, from this failure? Because just because you failed something doesn't make you a failure. You just failed that thing, and that's okay. So if you have those thoughts, how's it gonna make you feel? Make you feel more hopeful, right? Make you feel happy and content. And then your behavior is not suicide, not suicidal behavior or self-harm. The behaviors are more positive. Well, let me study for that test again. Let me work on what I need to do to improve next time. So it's really, 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 really important to have positive thoughts, positive affirmations, even for yourself. Because when someone else isn't going to give you those positive affirmations, it's important to give them to yourself more than anything. You should be the nicest person to yourself. So I usually prescribe twice daily positive affirmations to my patients. Wake up in the morning, say something positive. Going to bed at night, say something positive. I am strong. I am loved. I am beautiful. I am independent. I am worthy. I am respected. I am blessed. I am loved. I think I said that already. I'm loved. That's just such a wonderful one to say. So continue with positive affirmations to yourself. So, and this is why therapy is important, because therapy can help us with those thoughts and help us counter those negative thoughts, because the thought is going to come, right? Doesn't mean you have to entertain it. It's kind of like watching TV. You're watching TV and you're flipping through the channels and you see something you don't like on TV. Are you going to keep watching that thing that you don't like, or are you going to change the channel? So a thought might enter your mind. Maybe it's kind of an intrusive thought. You don't have to entertain it. It doesn't mean that it has to stay. You say, okay, nope, I'm not going to think that thing. It'll be better. It'll be good. And, start the positive trail away from those negative thoughts that are trying to get in your head. So getting into the myths and facts of suicide. I mentioned this one already, there's a myth that no one can stop a suicide, that it's inevitable, that just because that when they think of that thought, that it's automatically, they're going to do it because they thought it. No, of course not. You can prevent it the same way you can prevent yourself from having negative thoughts or help change someone's course of a negative thought to a positive thought. I also like to say, because as far as thought traps, or cognitive distortions is another therapeutic term with depression. Um, Thinking to the extreme, or having that all or none thinking, or the catastrophic thinking, that's what it is, where you automatically go straight to the extreme. There are some people who have that kind of thought process when it comes to depression. So maybe something slight happened, like, well, I guess I could use an example of failing the test, and they go straight to, I'm just going to kill myself. I like to talk to people about recognizing that you might have a problem and that problem is temporary. So let's think of a temporary solution, because suicide is a permanent solution. So, or someone yelled at you and you got angry, going straight to, I'll just kill myself. That is a permanent solution. So let's think of what's the temporary solution to a thought like that. So I hope that makes sense. So, anyhow, going to the next myth, asking a person about suicide will only make them angry and increase the risk of suicide. No, that is a myth. In fact, a lot of people want to hear that question of, are you feeling suicidal? Like they want that, want you to ask, want you to reach out, want you to see that they care. And it doesn't mean that you're giving them the idea that they should commit suicide when you ask them. That is not the case. And it might even lower their anxiety if you ask them. Another myth, only experts can prevent suicide. No, that is a myth. We're all in this together, and we can all be in everybody's business as far as trying to help them save their life. Ask them, try to help prevent their suicide. Another myth, people considering suicide keep their plans to themselves. That is not true. Some do, but that's not everybody. Most considering suicide communicate their intent sometime during the week of preceding their intent or their attempt. So a lot of people voice it. So listen, ask, keep your ears open. Another myth, myth number 5. Those who talk about suicide do not do it. So that's sort of the opposite of the other myth. Yes, some people think that people say they're suicidal for attention. Keep it, take it seriously. It may not just be for attention. They might really mean it, and you don't want to regret it. It's always good to take it all seriously. I do have patients that when they're angry, that's what they resort to is, I'm suicidal, I'll just kill myself, but they really don't mean it. So that's my job to kind of coach them. What is something else you can say when you're angry? Because we take that seriously if you are saying you're suicidal. Maybe you could say, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm really upset, I hate you, whoever you're talking to. I mean, obviously that doesn't sound cool to say that, but I'd rather you say that than say I'm going to kill myself, especially if you don't mean it. If you mean it, say it so we can get you some help, right? So people who talk about suicide may try or even complete an act of self-destruction. Myth number 6, once a person decides to complete suicide, there is nothing anyone can do to stop them. Like, this whole thing is about, yes, you can do something about it. It can be prevented. Suicide is the most preventable kind of death, and almost any positive action may save their life. So we have to take all signs seriously. The more clues and signs observed, the greater the risk. So I mentioned last week QPR, that is a type of training that you can take to help prevent suicide, and that Chris 180 is putting on that training. Chris180.org/QPR. You can go to Chris180.org/QPR to take this training. It's only 1 hour, it's virtual, and it's free. Why not? I attended that training, and that is what I'm about to talk about right now. Yes, you can attend it for yourself, and I definitely encourage that. But since I did attend it, I'm going to talk about the things that I learned from that training. Think about it. CPR. We all know what that is. Somebody falls out due to a cardiac arrest, their heart stops. I think we all know that football player. Oh my God, what was his name? Well, y'all know who I'm talking about. The Bills football player. CPR was given to him for about, what, 10 minutes or something like that? Everybody knows what that is, and a lot of people are certified in CPR. What if a lot of us get certified? Well, not even certified. You don't even need to be certified in QPR. QPR is question, persuade, refer. I always want to say prefer. That's why I stopped. Question, persuade, refer. You question a person, you persuade them to get help, and you refer them to help. QPR. You don't need to get certified. It's no 8-hour training. It doesn't cost money. In fact, it's a free training. Chris180.org/QPR. They're doing it this month, September in particular. There's still some trainings left. So anyhow, what are some clues before I get into exactly how you can go through the QPR process? What are some clues as far as wondering, are they suicidal? What's going on with them? Obviously, if there was a previous attempt, that increases someone's risk. That's a clue that they're going to do it again if they already attempted. If they're looking for a gun or they're trying to collect pills, like they're not on pills themselves, but they're taking pills from a family member, those are some clues. Feeling depressed, moody, hopeless, putting their personal affairs in order. So all of a sudden getting life insurance or transferring their money into investments or something for their family, getting their affairs in order. Those are some signs like, wait, what's going on? They're only 40. Why are they doing that? Giving away prized possessions. That's a clue. Like, why are they giving away that? What? She loves that ring. Why is she giving that away? That's worth a lot. Sudden interest in religion or disinterest in religion. A big abrupt change all of a sudden. Drugs, alcohol abuse, relapse after a long period of recovery. That could be a sign or a risk to suicide. Unexplained anger or aggression all of a sudden, or irritability. Anger and irritability is a secondary emotion. You don't get diagnosed with anger or irritability. Usually a person can be angry because they're depressed underneath that. They're anxious underneath that. They have anxiety. So look out for that person. They may be having a bad day or they may be angry and you're just like, I'm not dealing with them. Maybe there's something going on. Check on them. Situational clues. The other ones were behavioral clues, things that they're doing that might be different. That might be a clue. Like, I don't know. I need to ask what's going on. Situational clue would be they gotten fired or expelled from school. Recent unwanted move. They had to move out. They were foreclosed or evicted. Loss of any major relationship, death of a loved one, diagnosed with a serious terminal illness. These are things that can increase someone's risk to suicide. So QPR, question, persuade, refer. Q, ask the question. What kind of question should you ask? Any question, just ask, right? If the person's reluctant to kind of speak up, be persistent. Like, well, are you wanting to die? Have you had thoughts like that? I know that I'm definitely persistent with my patients if they say, oh, I don't want to answer that. I'm like, okay, that's a red flag. Why don't you want to answer? What's going on? And I usually tell them, well, if you don't want to answer, that tells me yes, that you are feeling suicidal. So then asking more like, are you passively suicidal? I don't ask it like that, but passive suicidal is like, I just want to escape. I don't want to be here. I want to go to sleep and not wake up again. But active suicide is, I want to do something to take myself out. But allow them to speak freely. Give yourself plenty of time. Don't just rush in and then ask them, such a question. And have your resources handy so that you can be able to help them or look it up together. It's okay. Don't stop yourself from asking a question just because your resources aren't handy. And there's different types of questions. You can ask a direct question or indirect question. Some people feel more comfortable than to ask an indirect question. Indirect question would be, have you been unhappy lately? Have you been very unhappy lately? It's just kind of like beating around the bush and kind of getting there. That's okay. You can start out with that, or maybe that might bring it out if you ask the less direct approach. Have you been so unhappy that you've been thinking about ending your life? It's more a gentle way of asking. Do you ever wish you could go to sleep and not wake up? So that's that passive type. But then if you want it to be more direct, I'm usually more direct because I'm more comfortable asking that. I ask people in my everyday work. When people are as upset as you seem to be, they sometimes wish they were dead. I'm wondering if you are feeling that way too. That's just more direct. Like, you feeling like you wish to be dead? You look pretty miserable. I wonder if you're thinking about suicide. Yeah, ask the question. Are you thinking about killing yourself? That's the most direct. You can ask that question. It's better to ask than to not ask at all. So that's the question. QPR. P, persuade. You're literally persuading them to stay alive. When you persuade them to stay alive, you've prevented them from killing themselves and prevented a death. That's what this is all about. Listen to them. Listen to the problem. Give your full attention. And they're like, oh, wow, I feel understood. I feel heard. Persuading someone to stay alive. Listen to the problem and give them your full attention. Remember, suicide is not the problem. It's not suicide being the problem. The solution to a perceived insoluble problem. So that's pretty much what I was saying earlier, where there is a problem, a temporary problem, but they come up with this obviously permanent problem to solve it. And that doesn't solve it. The problem, it ends your life. Do not rush to judgment. Don't judge the person. They're going through something. Offer hope in any form. And while you're persuading them, you're still asking questions. Will you go with me to get help? Will you let me help you get help? Help me help you. Because at the end of the day, if they don't want to be helped, well, I guess that's the thing. They don't want to be helped. So never mind, I'm not going to finish that sentence if they don't want to be helped. Because obviously they don't want to be helped if they're feeling that way. But it doesn't mean you can't, get them into wanting to be helped. What can we do to keep you safe now? And usually that is hospitalization. If you are concerned that person is not safe by themselves, or if they're concerned that they might do something to hurt themselves or kill themselves, then that's where they need to be go to inpatient hospitalization. I know that sounds scary being away, but it's better for them for their safety to be hospitalized. And usually hospitalization is up to like a few days to a week, depending on how they do. And then after hospitalization, they step down to outpatient care. So seeing a psychiatrist every few weeks or a month, and then a therapist every week. And sometimes you get put on the medication when you're in the hospital, sometimes you don't. Just thought I'd enter that in because hospitalization can sound scary. So the R is refer. Kind of jumped the gun on that. Suicidal people often believe they cannot be helped. So you may have to do more to help them. The best options for helping is involving taking the person directly to someone that can help. So that's the best referral method, is you taking them to get help. The next best referral is getting a commitment from them to accept help, then making the arrangements for them to get help. So you're not directly taking them, but you're saying, hey, promise me that you're going to get help and I'll make the arrangements, but promise me you'll go. The third best referral, and this is still a good referral, it's just the third best option, is to give referral information and then try to get a good faith commitment from them not to complete or attempt suicide. So you've referred them, you've given them options. 988 chat text, call. That's the crisis line. Georgia Crisis Access Line, 1-800-715-4225. Yeah, I think I memorized that. So those are really good access to how you can refer someone. So yeah, QPR, question, I always want to say prefer. Question, persuade, refer. That is how you can help a loved one, how you can help yourself know what's going on when there's changes in yourself, and find a therapist, call 988 if you need to, continue the positive thought life, start having positive affirmations, how you can help others, QPR. All right, I don't have anyone joining me today. It was all active with comments last week, but that's okay. I hope to have you all join me after this. I usually get a lot of people watching. Like, subscribe, follow, comment, ask questions. Hope you join me live next week. I may be live, I may not. Usually when I have a guest, I am not live because I pre-record it on Zoom and then I post it. So we will see. But next time I'm live, come on and ask questions, because then we can have a longer video and more interaction. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.